Hi, everybody. So, I'm Carolyn Elliott.
And I'm Layla Bernard.
And you are listening to the Sleep Over podcast. So, today, Layla and I, we're hanging out, and we've been
living it up in our Midwest Malkuthian sector of the simulation.
Yep.
Eating apple turnovers and driving through beautiful autumn countrysides. And also riding the waves of Samsara. Do you want to say more, Carolyn?
Yeah. So Lulu's in my lap. That's, you might be hearing some Lulu sounds. Yeah, just that, like, it's Scorpio season right now, and it's pretty rough out there, everybody. Like, at least I've been feeling pretty intense waves of, like, oh, whoa, oh, no, what's going on?
Yeah, well, Carolyn keeps reminding me that the astrological weather is very heavy right now with, like, Saturn squaring Mars in Earth signs and just a lot of heavy intensity. And, you know, I think it's very easy for people to get paranoid, to get paranoid that something is wrong when the heavy waves of samsara start crashing upon them. And, you know, sometimes the heavy waves crash. So we just wanted to talk today about the realities of life on the roller coaster wheel of fortune, karma, and life. Because anyone who tries to tell you that it is all rainbows and sprinkle donuts is like selling you something.
Yes. So there's this way that I think especially people who are sensitive and spiritually inclined really do experience movements of pain through the collective, and they're just moving through. And I think the temptation is to take it very personally, at least for me, and to be like, I'm feeling yucky because I've made terrible choices in life and I've gotten myself into a yucky place. And that's not necessarily true. You could just be feeling yucky because there's yuck just like
bubbling up from the collective. Like we, you know, it's completely possible to hypnotize oneself into a like deep story of pain when emotions well up in your being. Like there is always material in your experience that can justify yucky feelings. And, you know, as much work as we can do to like clear out yucky feelings, they do seem to mysteriously, unfortunately, arise. Like no matter what we do, they come as house guests, as Rumi, you know, reminds us. Like the emotions, the waves just come and go, and it can be easy to like feel like we're doing it wrong when those emotions come up. But yeah,
and for me lately it's been anxiety, and I don't think that I'm usually a very anxious person. But like I feel like there's something about this penetrating Scorpio paranoia that's like anxiety inducing. Like, oh my gosh, I'm in this like abyss of finitude.
Yeah, an abyss of finitude, and like also and like an endlessness of like inevitable return of further suffering. Like there is something very inevitable about this season right now. It's very like, yeah, it wants to get on top of you. There's like a crashing wave of like mortality and inescapability happening in the astral weather. And
so the really comforting thing that Layla has been saying to me about it lately, as I've been talking to her, has been that, you know, you just got to be on that surfboard. And I heard Beyonce in my mind when she said it, like, surfboard, like surfing on that wood, surfing on that wood. Like, just that, so you're still in the ocean, but like you're taking it lightly, like just
refusing to be dragged under, you know, refusing to like be overwhelmed, you know, knowing that you actually do have the resource, like, you know, you do have the resource to get through any experience. I mean, that's like, you know, Carolyn, you and I have been having such a fun time watching What We Do in the Shadows, riffing on the immortality, and like, if we really understand the like enduringness of our consciousness, the truth of the matter is that like we will make it through any fucking experience that we can have. So like, truly the best decision is not to like delude ourselves with the like impending what do we even imagine is the next thing that's going to happen. It's actually just the like fear of what's happening that's like constricting us and making us feel like the world is ending. But the truth is, like, we will endure. We will be fine. Like, we can choose to not just be like taking waves up the nostrils and like getting fucking scared and drowning. Like, we can remember that like the weather will change. Like, this will be over. Like, I will be here. I am okay. Like, it's really possible to get back up on the surfboard of your own consciousness and like not to pretend that you're not feeling. You know, I've been feeling the astrological weather in my body. Like, I have been feeling the, like, you know, pressure and unsettled at the same time. It has felt to me like a great weight, like laying down on my diaphragm, and at the same time, like an inability to sit still with it.
Yes, wow, pressured and unsettled. I think that's a great description of a Mars-Saturn square. And also there's like a Mars-Uranus opposition now, which it also sounds like a great metaphor of.
Yeah.
I've been feeling that for sure, like super pressured, like I have so much weighing on me, and like I want to do something about it, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I need to do about it to make the feeling of pressure go away. That under pressure sensation, from the great
Under Pressure, David Bowie. Yeah, like
people on streets.
Yeah, it puts people on the streets. Yeah, it makes you crazy, it makes you nuts. And I mean, I had a wonderful reading with an astrologer on Friday, and I think that if we are all to be looking at the stars for guidance, you know, if we are really to believe in the fractal holographic truth, then the great gift of astrology is not necessarily so much to give us answers as in like what should we do, but rather to give us answers in that like, yes, I see what I am experiencing is larger than me. It is not personal to me.
That is the ever deep gift of astrology. That is always the deepest gift of astrology to me. That's the way that it heals me. I was literally so healed. Can I tell the story?
Please, Carolyn.
After my attempted first wedding to a really crazy, handsome Aquarian stellium man, I was so suicidally depressed because I ran away on my wedding night, and I was so embarrassed.
Fucked up your life.
Fucked up my life. I had to return those wedding gifts. It was so humiliating.
Major ego death.
The biggest that I had ever undergone, and I'd never been depressed like that. Like, I thought that I had been depressed, and I had been pretty badly depressed, but never like that. Like, I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. There were, like, people coming to my house from my 12-step groups, like, banging on my door to drag me to a meeting, and I was just, like, smelly, like, non-person. Like,
wow. Yeah. Deep death. Deep putrefaction, Carolyn. Deep putrefaction.
I could not bathe. All I ate were Hot Pockets. I ate like one Hot Pocket a day, and all I could do was like, I watched Boardwalk Empire, and the whole time I was like, I hate this show. I have never hated a show as much as I hate this show. And you just
watched it.
I just sat there and watched
Holy shit,
it.
Carolyn. Holy shit.
Just like,
yeah. That's profound, Carolyn. That's profound.
And anyways,
astrology saved your life.
Astrology saved my life because I talked to a wonderful astrologer, Chutya Bhavadas. He went by Adam Ellenboss when I knew him back then. I haven't talked to him recently, but he's still really cool. I listen to his YouTube videos all the time. And he gave me a reading because I like no like my mother was making me talk to therapists. No therapist could help me. I was like, no, you don't understand, ma'am.
You were gone beyond.
Yes, I was like, let's talk to an astrologer. So I talked to Adam, and he looked at my chart, and he was like, oh, the day of your wedding was the day that Saturn entered Scorpio. And because of your natal Saturn placement, your natal Saturn is in Scorpio. It's in your 7th house. A Saturn return in Scorpio in the 7th house signifies a divorce. Is like always means a divorce. And it just so happens that your wedding day was that day. And when he said that, it freed me. Like, it freed me.
Yeah.
So, like, to the point that I could at least, like, come up for air. Like, from my, like, shame. Spiral. Because it was like, it was happening. It was gonna happen. It was part of my fate. It was just written there.
It was part of the fate of the universe. It was like larger than anything to do with just you. And I feel like that is like the hugest gift that we can give ourselves, is to remember that like it's really not personal. Like, it's not about us. It's things are happening like through us, but like it's not to be like shamed or blamed or made anyone's fault, because how else does the like divine mystery unfold but through the dramas of our own lives? Like,
exactly.
You know, that's like when I mean, I'll just be, totally transparent and be like, the last several days, I've just been like really prioritizing taking care of myself in the form of allowing myself to be sad in my bedroom and just be like, there is grief that wants to move through my being. And like, there is a sadness that wants to take residence. And like, I have really been doing my very best to not distract myself utterly and like lie about the sadness that wants to move through me, and also not to take it personally. Like, not like for many days I was trying to like spin stories of like trying to figure out in order to untangle the story of sadness that was like welling up in me. And it's reminding me of like the Gorgon knot, or the Gordian knot story, that like you actually can, like the mind will construct a story to make sense of whatever emotion is present in your body. And paradoxically, the more the story is told, the more crystalline the feeling becomes. And like, yes, like therapy is great. And yes, understanding like patterns is wonderful. But ultimately, like, I think the biggest gift of EK is to remember that there is always the choice to like look at your situation from an aesthetic point of view and be like, oh my, this wants to be, therefore what does it want me to like know about itself, and how can I give it approval? Like, how can I be with it in a way that does not tell it to go away, because it will exhaust itself in being allowed to exist. And I feel like that is the getting back on the surfboard like move of being like, I can be with this feeling without telling a story about it, without resisting it, without making it into a problem.
Yes, that's the essence of Tantra, to be able to be present with something without making it into a problem.
I was listening to Sufjan Stevens' song Chicago driving over to your house last night.
I've made a lot of mistakes. I love the way he sings that.
I've made a lot of mistakes in my mind.
In my mind.
In my mind. I've made a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes. In my mind, in my mind. You can't trust that motherfucker.
Yeah, right, you can't.
It's reminding me, Sufjan.
Right, and like the line that he says, like, I was in love with the place in my mind. in my mind. And like, we can spin ourselves into such a little like crazy space, but when we just like allow, as Rumi suggested, the like, deep sadness or anger or whatever to like take up space in the body. I was like, honestly, Carolyn, listening to that song driving over here, I was like feeling orgasmically sad. Like I could really feel the like turn on of just being really present to the sad feeling, which is bliss when you are truly just present to it. It just feels so tingly and joyful and good. And I couldn't deny it. I was like, no wonder I like to sip from this fine cup every now and again. Let's not joke. Let's not play around. A little sip. And then, like, you know, that, like, takes the fucking poison out of it.
You truly get it, Layla, which is why in my, like, deep vanity, I so love talking to you, because you really get the thing that has been the only thing that's ever really helped me, which is this big principle that, and
well, Carolyn, Tantric Buddhism isn't lying. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
just not lying.
The whole of alchemy is not a joke.
Not
like
a joke.
we're not lying. You know, it's not unreal. Like, you know, I've been thinking about, like, I was thinking before we started recording this about how, like, you know, the wheel of samsara is a wheel, and like I'm thinking about the Wheel of Fortune tarot card and like how it goes up and down, and like sometimes it's a water ride, and like, you know, I was talking with a friend recently about like carnival rides, and how like, yeah, sometimes there's ones that like just go around in the circle, and sometimes there's ones where you're like going around in a circle, and it's like going up and down, and sometimes it gets pretty crazy. And like if we look at, you know, if like we take for serious the like fractal pattern of the world, like isn't the whole of the solar system and the universe and everything just like a swirling tilt-a-wheel of like different resonant frequencies like going in and out? And sometimes it's pleasant, sometimes it's like, you know, the Lazy Susan swing ride where you're like, oh my god, it's a beautiful day, and like this is great. And sometimes it's like the tilt-a-whirl that's making you want to puke your guts out, but like that's not a personal failing on your part. And like it, like, oh man, one of the mantras that I've been really feeling lately as I, you know, hear tales of suffering or like hear about people's experiences, just like, thank you for your witness. Like, I feel like thanking ourselves for our own witness on whatever troubled experiences we are having is like a profound way to like sink into presence with ourselves. To be like, thank you for being the one who's willing to know this. Thank you. You know, like I just like really feel how each of us is doing a like sacred duty of like witnessing, like witnessing what we all are, honestly, you know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anyway.
And I love it. I was just like wrapped up in the beauty of like listening to you. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the what were we talking about was
riding the surfboard of samsara waves. I mean, you come up, you come down. There's water in your face.
You know what? And yeah. And you can look cool while you do it.
Surfing is cool. I did, you know, when I was living in San Diego for 3 months this summer, I got on a surfboard a little bit, but I just had fun watching people do it. And it is true that like, no matter what stage of surfing you're in, like you do look cool.
Oh, baby's getting fussy. Hold on. What do you want? Push.
Well, shall we wish we wish you all happy surfing. Thank you all so much for joining us. Happy Scorpio season. Enjoy the putrefaction. It's all just part of it. There's nothing wrong with it. It stinks, but it'll be over soon.